All right, good morning. Welcome to Sunday Civics. My name's Tom Christie. We try and talk about civics in this hour. And thanks for joining us. If you're watching it live, you can ask questions just simply by raising your hand and Mike will put you in. Mike Reed helps out, Mr. IT. We appreciate his help every week. And again, civics is everything. So it's not hard to talk about different things every week and keep this diverse because the things that make up civics are so vast. So this morning we want to talk about my favorite topic that I could talk about every week, and it's media, journalism, information sharing, that whole genre. It's not journalism any longer. Journalism is so broad a topic. So we've got somebody on this week who I guess is that topic of just keeping conversations going on multiple subjects, but having conversations. And he has a company that does that called Gorillas Inc. And his name is John Restano, and he's over there on the side. John, thanks for joining us this morning.
Hey, Tom, thank you for having me, and happy Father's Day.
That's right. We don't want to date the show, but it is Father's Day. Thanks for doing it on Father's Day. Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. Hey, I got to get the biggest elephant out of the room question in the world off the table right from the get-go. You're a Leafs fan. What the heck? How did this happen?
Oh, man, it's been forever. I've been a Leafs fan forever. I started liking them in 77, Daryl Sittler, and, that's what we got to see a lot of around here, it's Leafs games and stuff. And I don't know. I've always liked them. I'm suffering, but we'll get through it.
So is it worse? You're also a Sabres fan and a hockey fan in general, but is it worse to have never won a cup since 1970 or to not have won one since 67?
It's got to be the same, right? I mean, because winning cups when there was only 6 teams, I don't count them much, but I know like the Leafs and Sabres are in the same boat. The only thing is the Sabres are better off because at least they made the finals. Toronto hasn't made the finals since 67. Haven't won a conference championship, haven't done anything. So they've gotten close, but they just never think about that. Never made it to a Stanley Cup final to even lose. So, and the Sabres had in 99 beat the Leafs in the conference final and probably should have won the cup, or at least, that was the Brett Hall thing. But
yeah, right. That was stolen from us.
Right. Yeah,
we'd have lost on the next shift, but it was still stolen from us.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's the headline of the morning for me will be that the Sabres are better off. That's hard for me to get my head around.
Better off.
I know you don't mean that.
Better off in that way, as far as winning, like who's more shameful or who's more hurt, whose fan base is probably more hurt. But maybe the Leafs are better off. I don't know. Maybe the Leafs are further off, but the Sabres at least are stripping down again and seem to have young, good players. I don't. We'll see.
Well, I mentioned that the Leafs because Gorillas Inc. in your world now, you talk about a lot of things. You have a lot of shows. You don't just talk about civics. You talk about sports, although I'd consider that civics. So just tell me what is Gorillas Inc. and what you do.
Okay, Gorillas Inc. I have 3 partners. Well, the first, Wade Van Valkenburg was the first guy. We were together. Then we added Brian, who I forgot his last name. Oh my God, I'm sorry, Brian, and Jeff Weber, who are Wade does a great job producing. Jeff and Brian are the real technical guys that know what that means to be in a cloud and all that other stuff and being able to. That's them. So we have that. Like you said, we have quite a number of shows now, and they go from local music to politics, sports. We do a Marvel comic show, and there's a cooking show coming up. We do pizza reviews, things like that. So, there's a lot going on there. You can find us just real quick on YouTube, Facebook, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And if you ever wanted to do a podcast or anything like that, you just reach out to us. Go to gorillasinc.com and we could set you up.
I found that's the funny part. If you just see things from the outside and want to do them, just get a website. It's harder than it looks. Just start a podcast. It's a little harder than it looks. So if you just had an idea and you wanted to do something, you can also help people do that, right? That's what you do. You put them on.
Yeah. We just bring them in, and then it's awfully inexpensive to do. Actually, it could be nothing if it's pretty much nothing. I mean, you come in and geez, have an idea, and then it goes from there, and do whatever it is, because I think
Oh, we're losing you a little there.
we all like Gorillas Inc. and probably, oh, can you hear me there?
Yeah, there you go. That's better. Yep. We
Yep,
lost you
okay.
for a little bit. Yep.
All right, well, I think like Gorillas Inc. and other things like us, we're always looking for content. So it's always, you can't really do much wrong, other than if you're that boring that you can't. I mean, I guess then we'd have to, you wouldn't want them on. But generally, we just want content and good content. But that's why we got a cooking show and whatever like that.
Right. Well, so aside from the sports and the cooking and everything else, you've come to at least my attention because we share a civics bond of, I don't think there's anyone who knows more about the current Niagara Falls City judge race than you, because you've done multiple shows on it, as well as other things. So you're also quite involved in what I would call civics, how the city runs in Niagara Falls, correct or no? Or
no, that's right. I mean, it's funny with us, especially with me, I don't have anything I care about as far as politically or a party, because I'm independent, so I don't care about Democrat or Republican. It doesn't bother me which one wins here in Niagara Falls. It's all about the connections, and that's what I look at, who's connected to who. It doesn't matter, Democrat or Republican, because we got only one of those parties here, I think, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, I've gotten involved. See, though, it's weird. I've gotten involved in that city court race only because a lot of times I'm the messenger, and sometimes the messenger gets killed, but I am the messenger of it. And
oh, we're having real trouble hearing you.
No, I won't call it. It gets crazy. And oh, better? No?
You keep fading out. Yeah, this is
very odd.
Yeah. Okay, we got you now at least.
Okay. Am I better there? I'll hold it steady right here. Let's see.
Oh, it was your voice. Yeah, it was your voice. Let's just pray for the best. One thing that's fascinating is sometimes things happen without intention, and you're saying you're the messenger, and that's what's fascinating. I don't know how we get information anymore, what the best way is. We don't just turn on Walter Cronkite, of course. We don't just open up 3 daily newspapers and read, Larry Felser versus the Buffalo Courier Express. It's morphed into how we get our information. And I think that's where you are right now. You're at the crossroads of how we get our information. You're having conversations, but it's information. Where do you think that's going? Do you find that when you said you're the messenger, I mean, you may talk to more people than the daily newspaper does. Yeah.
I struggle with something, Tom, and that's like anonymous source type things. I get a lot of stuff that way. A lot of people don't want their name attached, but then the people that are giving me the stuff, I know are knowing what they're in the know. I struggle with that because also I'm not a journalist at all. Not even close. So sometimes I even reach out to those that are and try to find out what to do. But as far as the information, people want to say it. It feels like, they actually want, because sometimes I don't even ask and it just comes my way. And that's what's weird. I don't know. Well, there's such a lack of, everyone knows it. I feel like that right now, I'll just go with our local media, isn't doing much. We all know that it's kind of, I guess it always has been to pay for play type stuff, but it's even worse today, it feels like. And yeah, I just end up finding, God, I wish I was a journalist. I wish I knew how to compile things the way I'm supposed to, because I'll get information and sometimes my head spins. There's so much that it's crazy, Tom. I mean, we get a lot, and I think we've talked. I get a lot of stuff.
How do you balance that with what you know and what you see on the front of the newspaper, either the Gazette or the Buffalo News, which is not the story, or not even the story? There's just a strange story when you know so much more that's going on, and you're a nobody from nowhere, and you're hearing it without even asking, and yet it's not being covered. What do you make of it? What do any of us make of all that?
For me, I'm frustrated by it. I mean, there's things that have happened in the city that have never been covered, and it's insanity. I mean, all of them are like big stories. Oh my God. 3, 4 different huge stories that would normally should be front page would be incredible. That would be nationwide, you would think. And I mean, when you have a story of a group of people, like think of this one. I'll only give one. There's a story where you got a group of people that are not survivors. They're the family members of murder victims. And there's a ton. Niagara Falls is having that issue. They get together and say, we're going to march. We're upset, and we want the mayor to hear us. They go to the mayor's door, and that wasn't reported anywhere. That's nuts. That's a huge story, but nothing. So, yeah, it's frustrating to see because what's happening and nothing said.
So 5 years ago, I was there where I'd be frustrated that the paper wasn't reporting it or radio wasn't reporting it. But I'm over that. They're never going to for whatever reason. But you are, or other people like you are. How do I find that? I do still just turn on the radio or turn on cable and scroll through my FiOS list of what shows are on and pick something. Right. Columbo, tonight at 8, WBBZ, tune in. But how do I find your show easily? I have to think, I bet John did something this week. I'm going to go. How do I get that dashboard of local information into my life?
Gosh, we got to do that. I mean, that's so important. I mean, it would be, we got to figure that out because I know if you're not on Facebook or YouTube, or you don't know anything about my show, your show, anything else, all these different things, you're right. I mean, how do they find us? I don't know, man. We do have to figure that out. I wish I had because I would love to have it where it's all just on, I guess, a .com somewhere. All of us, we're all together, whether it's, Sam Archie has a show. I think Dante has a show, of course, your show, mine that goes. And I should say ours, because I have so many that help me with it. And that's something we need to work on, because you're right. I mean, it's still easier just to go to the guide on your TV, or I mean, that's a really good question, because we got to be able to make it easier for people to find us, because there's no way they would know. You're right. I mean, how would they know that I'm even talking? But then when you think about it, if I'm on AM radio, I know that me and you right now are going to reach more people than AM radio. So I agree with you, Tom. I got to figure it out. We got to figure out how to get us all on one spot that everyone can just go to.
And again, like I said, 5 years ago, I might have worried about AM radio or even the newspaper. But now you can reach more people in any other way. And those venues AM radio, they don't even have anything anymore. They're almost shut themselves down, which must tell you something about the marketplace. There's no money. I wouldn't say there's even anything wrong with the newspaper. I think they're going the way of the dinosaur because of advertising. If you own a sub shop, you're not taking out a full page ad in the newspaper like you did in 1970. You're just not. So it doesn't exist anymore, and they run on ad revenue. You can't charge $72 a day to buy the newspaper. So whatever, it's an economic issue. So I don't know, where do we go with that? AM radio and the paper aren't even options anymore because they've taken themselves out of the market. Yet there's incredible writing. I mean, Investigative Post has a story a week that you just go, huh? What? And then I'll take a walk with my wife, who's more plugged into anything that I'm all plugged into, and she'll say, I haven't seen anything from Investigative Post in months. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're on every week. So I guess, how do we get this into people's brains, I guess? And let's take this off the table, that be it a Sam Archie show, a Dante show, a your show, a my show. Oh, we've got to have some purity test that it's the information's correct. Come on. Fox News is not the same as MSNBC, so one of them are different. I mean, I want to see it all. You don't need to filter it for me. So anyway, will you invent that?
Yeah, I want to. Yes, we should. Someone's got it. We got to do that, because although the younger people know where to find it, I will say that people younger than me, do get it. Like they understand. They don't even know how to use a guide like we're talking about. Like it doesn't even, it's kind of it's archaic. They don't know what the heck I'm talking about. They've never put on AM radio in their life. Hell, half of them aren't even putting FM radio on anymore. You know what I mean? Because they're using other things where you talk about Spotify and all that. So they're ready for it. They're the ones I guess I need to start talking to, because it's just so easy for them to figure this stuff out, where I'm spiraling thinking the same thing. I want the TV guide of these shows, you know what I mean? Of internet shows, of podcasts.
But
And again, got to figure it out.
Let me take that off the table though too. I love young people and they're the future of the planet, right? Well, they don't vote. They don't participate. They don't read anything. And so we have the civics we have because young people don't participate. So I don't know. I'm torn on that. Yes, put it out to them when they want to, I guess. You know, we need them to step up to the plate as well and participate.
Well, yeah, because people, like even the podcasts that are hugely successful that might not even be political at all, like you think of Joe Rogan and all those guys, people just binge watch it. They will do that kind of stuff. Oh, I'm going to listen to 6 shows of Rogan. But then when there are shows, that's a tough way to do it because we're kind of, you know, current events, things are going on. So yeah, you can't really binge watch us. See, that's the thing. It's so weird. I don't know how. I am confused. Like, not confused. I know what I want. It's just how to get there. And there's going to be people that we can find to help us figure this out. I'm sure it's just as much as a website, maybe, and just getting us everywhere and then getting that, you know what I mean, that platform out. You know, now who votes? People like my 50s and older. I don't know. Is that your normal? I don't know how comfortable even they are even with the internet. Still, I mean, they are and aren't. I mean, Facebook, that's why we go to Facebook a lot. It seems to be the place where everyone seems comfortable. Twitter's a comfortable spot, but it doesn't really allow for video like we do. I know. I agree with you. We got to do that. And then we got to drop egos too, because once we ever were to find a platform, like you said, I don't care who spin, whatever, just get on the platform for just everything, for all of it. And yeah, that's my goal. I mean, that's our goal. We've talked about it before. We got to get this all in one spot so people can see it.
We've got a guy who actually knows who votes, and that's Dave. And if he has a chance to come on, if Mike can put him on, it'd be great because he actually knows. He's in the business and he knows who votes and why they vote and what they vote. Because we've had this discussion offline. I want 100% voting. And there's other people that say, no, you're too stupid to vote. Don't vote. And it's a constant, discussion. Voter suppression, voter participation, voter anything. It kind of all starts with voting. So it's an interesting topic, one way or the other. And I don't know. It's a good argument. If you're too stupid to vote, maybe you shouldn't vote. And I don't know why 100% of everybody isn't voting. It doesn't seem that the Board of Elections' goal it's not their goal to make sure everyone votes. It's their goal just to take records and, see who did vote. Right. Maybe we should change that. Maybe they should be a little more proactive about making, people want to vote. So anyway, having said all that, in the city of Niagara Falls, my contention after all these years is that it's a great city that isn't great yet. It's got all the tools, almost unique in the whole United States, to become a world-class operation, and it isn't. And I don't know why. That's the goal for me, for Civics. Why is this a suboptimal situation? And it's fine. It's fine for what it is, but it could be so much better is my, contention in setting aside to prove that. You've lived there all your life. Do you believe that? Or do you believe it's suboptimal? I've had several people tell me, get over it. It's a small, poor city. I hate to accept that.
Yeah, it's there's too much money here. There's so much at stake. It's why people fight to be the mayor or council. I mean, the pay for mayor. I mean, it's not that high. I mean, when you really think about it, when it comes to executives of a city, whatever. There's so much money here. I mean, how much? Like 9 million tourists come through, and all of that, and Albany's really interested, as we always know, in what Niagara Falls, not really what we're doing, more as what we're making, I think, with Goat Island. Yeah, I mean, we are, I don't like that either. We don't have to be. We don't have to be that small, poor city. I mean, I always think about it. We're a Rust Belt city, I guess, all that. We were manufacturing. And God, you go to a place in, you drive through Pennsylvania, Ohio. There was a place in Pennsylvania called Arnold that I used to go to a lot when I was a kid. And it's landlocked, it's just right in there. And they lost everything like we had, Nabisco, all those types of things. And it's sad how it looks, but we're blessed with the border and the water and all that. And there's a reason why we can't get it going. To me, it's Albany's issue partially. We know who owns everything here, that NFR group and all of that, and it just never gets going. Tom, I can't understand it either. I feel like this shouldn't be a poor little city. We're a little city with big, right now we're a small city with really big issues. I mean, murder is I mean, every night now, every single night. I mean, maybe last night we didn't, at least I didn't hear, but I mean, 2 nights ago, someone shot on 21st Street in the stomach, someone shot on 38th Street, someone found dead on Toronto Lone, I think it is, or no, the plate between the Knack and Family Dollar. So this is all going on here. Yeah, I agree with you. It should be better. It has to be better. Well, and I know that's what you're doing.
I don't know what the answer to this is, because there's so many different viewpoints. Where you just said the what happened on the streets. I read Saturday's newspaper, which said the sheriff and the police commissioner are just breaking the bank to take guns away from people, and it's going great. We're doing great. They're patting themselves on the back. That's the only story in the newspaper about gun violence on Saturday. And then the other thing is, well, oh, gee, if you talk about it, it'll give us a black eye. I think we're beyond that, aren't we? I mean, it's happening. Can't we just admit it's happening? And then I guess I shouldn't solve it, and you're a nobody from nowhere to solve it. We need a cop to solve it, but the cops can't talk or don't talk. I mean, how do we get out of that, punch ourselves out of this bag, this paper bag that seems breakable?
Yeah, we have no information at all. I mean, you're right. And then this has to be just maybe small cities mimicking Washington. I don't know. But all of a sudden, I've never seen this here. Everything has to go through City Hall. In a city that has so much going on here, as far as violence, we never get to hear from the police, the chief of police. We don't even hear from the mayor, really. We hear from nobody. And then when I say we don't hear from anybody, what about it? There hasn't been a press conference where anyone can ask questions at all that I can think of. I would think because I look at other cities, like even Chicago, or you just watching, national news, there'll be a point where you'll see, that something happened, and here comes the mayor, there's the police chief, and there's a room full of reporters asking them questions, and they're answering them. We don't get that here at all. It's complete and total silence. I don't even know if I could get to the public information officer for the city. I mean, and I think she probably does a great job. So it has nothing to do with the person who's doing the job. It's the job. And you don't hear from her. You don't hear anything. Could I get an interview with her? Probably no. They would tell me no. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is there something happening? Is there did they bring anyone in to help the police? I don't know. Did the state come in? Did you hear rumors of stuff, but you never hear anything? And I think that is, I think that's really a big problem, because I've never, ever saw a mayor, a police chief, and everything that just never has to answer a question other than like one of those things that's a setup. I mean, when the mayor goes on Channel 4 with Jackie Walker, or whatever that was just what it was. There's no follow-up. Mm-hmm. And that hurts us, I think. I know it does.
One of the reasons I want you to invent a dashboard for me to watch alternative shows, real shows, is because of what you just said. We've really morphed. Again, maybe 5 years ago, I was frustrated with the political system where we had fake press conferences, but where a politician would put out the press release and the newspaper would print it word for word and no other questions. But now it seems to be that when that style gives us the city we have. So there's a cause and effect. There's a one-for-one relationship with no press conferences, no information, no real political discussion, and gunshots on the street, like a lot. So there seems to be a relationship with no discussions, no media, no questioning politicians and what we have. No, I mean, it just
Yeah.
seems like we
Well, like there's a point where I know at the train station or where they're doing the vaccinations down at the new convention center, you'll have Kathy Hochul, you'll have the mayor, you'll even have Schumer there, and you'll have all these people there. And not, it's crazy that they walk in and out, not a word. You can't even, like, you would think at the end, okay, we're gonna have a podium here and we'll talk maybe. No talking. Down at City, like when they were very excited about the Goat Island with the that center, the visitor center. No, I didn't. There was no questions. It was just let's all get together. We'll make a few statements, and that's all. And it's coordinated effort because this has never. Niagara Falls has never had this. Niagara Falls has never had this. Even with Deister, we didn't have this. We didn't have where it was just. It's silence unless it's like a need to know type thing. And I guess we don't need to know because we know the Gazette doesn't want to get involved, I guess, or they can't, or their hands are, I don't know. There's all kinds of excuses. We always hear about them. The Niagara Falls Reporter does nothing. That's severe pay to play type stuff. And we even found that out with North Tonawanda when they paid him $2,000 a month only for good news. So, and it's still happening. It's bad. It's really bad. We don't even know. Like someone said the other day, I think it was on my show, Bill Kennedy. I think he said, the councilman, about how many arrests have been made out of all the murders. And he was saying a good number. I can't remember the number, but there's been a lot of arrests made. We don't even know that. That's the first I heard of it. To me and to the public, there's been none made except two that I could think of. So like, who's telling anyone? No one knows. So,
that was why you're on this show, because you are smooth as silk. You slid in your own show.
Oh yeah, I know.
I learn something from you every day.
No, please.
Well,
I learned it from you.
Where do we go? Where do we go with something like that? I mean, I don't want revolution in the streets. We seem to have that for the last 4 years. I don't want to hate anyone. I actually like all the government officials because they're getting paid to help us. But when Chuck Schumer flies here, has a press conference at the border to open up Canada and flies home without taking any questions, I just got to start saying, you're wasting my money. You could have done this from Washington. You're the third highest elected official in the greatest country on the planet. You could call Trudeau. Trudeau answers your calls. What was that all about? They treat me like I'm 3 years old at this point.
Well, like Kathy Hochul comes here and no one asked her about the governor at all. Like,
Whoa, no, wait. I know what you meant. No one was allowed to ask her. There were journalists chomping at the bit to say your boss is under sexual harassment questioning, and there's several investigations and blah. They're chomping at the bit, and you know what? If you're a reporter chomping at the bit, you stop getting press releases. What is that all about? You don't even get the notice that Chuck Schumer was at the border until after the fact. How do we hold people accountable to that? I think, no, again, that was 5 years ago. I wanted to know how we hold accountable. Now it's over. We have to go to shows like, yours, that you can invent a dashboard for me to listen to somebody else talk about it. Because if they're not going to invite the press, we have to just stop caring what they say.
Well, then you show up there and then it becomes ridiculous. It becomes like TMZ. You know what I mean? Then it becomes like I'm paparazzi. So now I got to run up on them and ask a question. And then they like that, I think, because then it makes someone like me or someone else look like a lunatic because we're running up on them, asking them a question that should just be asked at a normal setting. And they've really had I don't even know who they is. I keep saying they. I feel like it started in Washington with a lot of the fake news stuff. If you don't like the news, it's fake. If you like it, it's great. But like, there's something going on. Well, for example, here, when the public information officer was brought in, and even in the county, we know it's patronage, and you know what it is, but it's just, that stinks. Public information officers stink. And I think they do because they're that thing. They're that's the fence. That's the wall. They're the firewall. Like, I can't get by them. And if they just don't say nothing, no one says anything, and it's over. And yeah, you end up running up on someone, and then it turns into a circus. I mean, and then you're the bad person for doing it. I don't know how else you could ask.
The reason I like civics and focusing on one place is because when we talk about civics, a lot of people think it's government, and okay, they're a big part of it, but they immediately go to, Chuck Schumer or Trump's an idiot or Biden's senile or something. I'm like, no. When you're talking public information, it's a person that we know who lives down the street. So let's deal with that. Like, if that person isn't doing what we need, they're our neighbor. We should be able to say, hey, hi, I don't hate you, but you know what? We need more out of you, or, find another job, or, the mayor lives down the street. I mean, we need to keep it real and local, that we talk to each other, that we're not in silos, and we are, but we need to just address all of our frustrations.
Well, I was just thinking of something, and I think this is part of there's a war on media, I think. There definitely is, because, when we do our shows, if we do anything critical, like of anybody or anything, let's say, there's a fear of what's to come, and I'm starting to realize that the attacking by the public you know what it is, the public, and I'm talking right here in Niagara Falls, let alone around the country. They have been, maybe they felt this a long time, but they don't like the media. They just don't. All that. The whole thing. You saw them getting attacked in different places, and I kind of feel it here. And I feel like sometimes if I'm critical of somebody, I get a hell of a lot of anger. I mean, it's not, and some people don't want to take it. I think that's part of this too. There's just too much anger towards the media all over. And so it stops people. It stops people from doing those things. And I know there's people out there that want to do that. They do. They're into it. That's what they do. That's what a good journalist would do. They don't care who the person is. They don't care who the party is. They don't care. And I'd like to see, I don't know how that changes, Tom, because they're under attack. I mean, think about it. It's really bad. The whole fake news thing was a really, really, I think, was one of the worst things that ever happened. I mean, we knew there was news. I mean, we always knew that. Even back from like when CNN first started, and the Daily News and the Post and all that, and even the Reporter here, because the Reporter seemed like the New York Post of Niagara Falls, And I think that's something else. Somehow we got to make it turn back to where the media was not they're not the story. But did you ever know it always gets turned on them as being the story? So that's just what I was thinking. That's what hurts.
Again, I say nobody from nowhere out of respect, actually. But, you and I, we have two people watching, right? We're nobodies. But you have actually received violent, actual death threats to your cell phone saying, I know where you're standing and I'm coming with a gun. So when that happens, if I was to suggest that I'm going to shoot Governor Cuomo or President Biden, right? The FBI would knock on my door in about 10 minutes because they should. That's nutso. But you have actually received death threats and taken that to the police and said, what do I do? I'm a little bit, hey, this should be dealt with. And what? Silence, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you, me and Wade have had a couple. We just had a couple a week ago. And they aren't exactly these ones. Death. It's violence. It's violent threats. We're going to come to your house. We're going to do whatever. And no, it just. I mean, the one back in November of last year. I don't even remember. That one definitely fell on deaf ears, because at the time when I was sick with COVID, and Wade went down there to the police station, and they basically told us fill out something online, and we'll get back to you. They still haven't gotten back to us. Recently I just had a situation here, and Wade, we both did, and so yeah, that's just, you're right. I've said that if what I got would have been, if the mayor would have gotten what I got, I'm going to assume there would have been something. I mean, at least, and people aren't even shy to put their name. They're not even shy to tell you who they are. It's not even fake. fake names, which we can find out anyways, and they don't even go to their door to say, hey, why don't you stop?
So in
You know?
civics in 2021, why are you any different than anyone else? Why would not an investigation of, I know who sent it, here's the cell phone number,
Yeah.
why would that get ignored? It's a kind of a rhetorical question, but I mean, how in the city we're studying, okay, civics in your city, you live there, and the police have the record they have with shootings every night. What is going on?
Yeah. I mean, are they too busy? I don't know,
You've
man.
taken a cell phone with a trackable number and a violent threat, and it's been months, right? Yeah, it has. That one I know about was months ago.
Oh yeah, it's a year ago. Nothing. Yeah, I think it'll be a year in November. It's
Okay.
nothing. Not a word.
So
No.
let me flash forward to a worse situation, either domestic violence or rape.
Mhm.
And the victim did not feel, get your head around this, the victim did not feel that she could go to the local police, went to another county. This isn't small potatoes that you get a text of violence. It spins out of control to domestic violence and rape, correct or no? I mean,
Yeah. No, it does. It does. I mean, yeah. We know that whole situation, and yeah, they had to go to Erie County, or they went to the state police, and then it goes, and then that all happens, and next thing you know, Erie County district attorney has to get involved with all that whole rape case with D'Angelo, and then with things like we were talking, some of the threats we would receive are right on Facebook. I mean, just send, and then you take the screenshot and you have it forever. And a lot of times you just get told, well, I think just recently, my partner called because he had a threat that someone was coming to his door, and said knew the address. And when he called, and I think this wasn't Niagara Falls Police, but whatever, they said, call me if something happens, type of thing. But I would think before it would be just go to the door and tell the person, hey, what do you do? That type of thing. No, call us when something happens. I don't know. I hate to get on the police case. I don't know. Are they too busy? Is there just so much going on? I don't know.
But here's my contention though, when we're studying civics and I want the entire world to look at Niagara Falls as an example of how we can do, build back better or whatever the term, right? We can now build a city. We're in control. What would we do? We want everyone to look at this, and maybe it's going to have to get worse before it gets better. But then let's pivot. You're no spring chicken. You've been around Niagara Falls your whole life. Why is the top story of City Hall seeming to be regulating tourist rentals?
Right.
That's the number one emergency when there's shell casings being picked up on Pine Avenue. I don't understand that as an outsider. The number one thing is to stop short-term rentals.
Yeah, that is our biggest thing. Short-term rentals is our biggest story. I don't know why for sure. I could guess that it's I hate the topic of STRs because it should be easy in my mind to fix whatever the problem is. So there's a reason. And I know it's all of it real quick. I don't even know why the hell I'm getting into this, but I know it's all because of it's more the zone. Where are we going to put them? Where are we going to put them? Something isn't right. They have a list of it. The people that aren't regulating or they're doing it illegal, just go get them instead of all this. But whatever, you're right. I don't know why that's the biggest story. Why? There's times where people are murdered that it never hits the paper. I mean, there was one that I heard that it never was in the paper, and it was violent as hell. I never heard anything so violent of a guy getting shot on Pine Avenue. And I mean, God, in the middle, it never made the paper. So I don't know.
I'm no spring chicken either, and I've lived in Western New York most of my life. Do you think it became just a political stunt because two of the candidates running for city council happen to be short-term rental, type people? They know that business, or they're in that business, however it is. I mean, again, shell casings are being picked up this morning from one street in Niagara Falls. We have to know that it's just true because it happens every night. And we're worried about regulating short-term rentals, maybe because there's an election coming up. Really?
Well, the funny thing is about the short-term rentals, I think that was a very convenient thing that happened for them, for whoever, because I know back in July of last year, I guess it was. See, I'm starting to forget the year. Yeah, I think it was last year. I did there was a now my I did a show about short-term rentals.
Well, how do I find that show?
You can find it. Yeah, right. But anyways, I did a show. We had a guy on who was for the mayor's plan. I think this was before, though, that anyone would have announced that they were going to run. So there's something, I think that was very convenient that then the people that were the two that are going to run, obviously were outspoken in there. And there's something more to it. There's something going on with that zone. There's something going on with the fact that the part of the zone is so close to the casino and right down in there. I don't know what it is. I just figure there's got to be some money somewhere pushing that to happen big time. And it's kind of that whole thing that we were talking about earlier. There's so much money here up for grabs. And there's just a ton of money up for grabs. There's too many people fighting. Now, we talked about voting earlier. You know what just popped in my head? And this is because I am no spring chicken, so it just hit me. Do you know how many people, 39% was voter turnout, I believe, in 2019 for the mayoral race, which was the biggest one, right, in 12 years, because we're going to get a new mayor besides Deister. What's it going to be now? Wait till Tuesday's an election, right? We have, who's going to show up? It's going to be like the size of a big student council thing. And for this, I don't know, who's going to show up to vote? No one. And I imagine, and that's where it just hit me that I remember that 39% number. And I don't know. I am not going to be too negative. Well, God, I'm Mr. Negative, but I just don't know what the hell to do, because when the media shut out and none of us could ask a question, you couldn't ask a question. Could you imagine if you went to go? I can't ask one. I bet you Archie. You know what though? Sam, Archie, and maybe Dante, they have a show. Those are the only ones I know of. Maybe due to their political ties, they could get somewhere pending. I'm not getting anywhere. You're not getting. You know what I mean? So we need to fix that, and I don't know how.
I don't want to ask anybody a question. So my role is that, in fact, everybody says you got to participate and go down to City Hall and
it doesn't matter.
Go to a council meeting. I don't want to go to City Hall and go to a council meeting. It's your job. It's like me looking at the cubicle next to me. Do your job. I don't want to watch you do your job. Just do it. You were elected. You know, right. I don't have to monitor you. Some people, it's their profession and they need to, and they're not being allowed to. So,
right.
What do you think? My contention is I'm doing civics now because I've waited 40 years and we've held the hope for the next mayor will be better. Wait till the next council. If we elect him or her, it'll be fine. Wait till the casino happens. Wait till the state invests a lot of money. Wait till the waterfall stops falling. No, there's going to be nothing. I'm not waiting anymore is my attitude. I'm going to inject try and raise all other awareness of we have to do something, I don't know what, but I mean, we should be easily twice as big as the other side, not even the same size of the river. What do you think? You live there. Should it be any better? Is it a small, poor city? Get over it. Should it be a population of 1 million? Could it be Singapore 20 years from now? What, in your crystal ball, where are we going? What could happen?
Well, I know we are. Right now we're currently a small, poor city. What could happen could be great. I think. I mean, it could be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, my concern is that everything is owned by one group, and they don't seem to do anything for the past 25 years. It's tough. I mean, currently, I guess we're getting $59 million into the city. We're going to find out what it is that they can spend it on. I did speak with one councilman that was open for everything, putting a big Ferris wheel downtown, whatever you want. Let's do everything. Let's put everything, like a big Ferris wheel, whatever. Let's just do everything. And that's cool. I mean, they're talking about doing stuff to the Rainbow Center, right? And making it more, I don't know, more easier for people to walk through or something. They're going to be doing because it just sits there. Did you ever go down that way?
John, when though? I'm impatient. When?
I don't
How
know.
long does a city council person need to make a difference? Do they have a 12-month plan? So if you're in for 12 months, what have you achieved? Is it going to take you 10 years? Okay, be honest and tell me it's going to take you 10 years. What will you do in the next 12 months? Rainbow Mall? It's been how long, right? Sure. Oh, yeah, we're going to put this, that, and the other thing. You don't control it. The state does. You don't control the park. The state does. Everybody complained about $46 million. There's no plan that anybody's ever given us, even though we've asked. And so what? Deaf ears. They don't care whether you say anything or not. They don't care what you think about the Rainbow Mall. They'll do it when they're ready. I don't know, John. Tell me when it's going to happen. I'm not going to wait 40 more years.
Yeah, I'll be dead. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know because of just like you, I don't know when it'll be. Who the hell knows? Like you said, the state, it's the state. They don't care what I think. They don't even care what the city council thinks. They don't care about nothing. I mean, the state, I mean, and they are our boogeyman. I mean, they are. I don't know how to change it. I don't know. I've thought about it a lot. I don't know. I know, like, for example, I know you've probably been down there. I think, near the Culinary Institute, that little walkway area. It's the only place when I go over there that I feel is tourism. Like, I feel it. Like, you got an outdoor things happening. You got some stuff happening. That is the only little section that feels like I felt when I'd go to Virginia Beach or I'd go to different places. There's one little spot.
Well, you're talking about a storefront before we lead people on. You're talking about a storefront. You're not talking even half a block, maybe.
Yeah, tiny. It's very tiny. And I walk there and I walk by and I'm like, wow, this feels right. And that's it. So yeah, I can't figure it out. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, remember the Winter Garden came down, and I was kind of happy about it at first. Then I didn't know what to think about it. I understood the reasoning. Okay, we're going to clear it up, clear path to the falls, and nothing happened after the Winter Garden came down. So I'm as confused as anybody. I mean, I've been here for a long, long time. A lot of promise. There's just another in the paper. We just got a lot of promises the other day of stuff to happen on Main Street even. This is the problem. I don't know, Tom. I don't know.
Here's something I find, because I'm an outsider and I'm just, interested in civics, and I've chosen the city you live in, but I'm an outsider. I ask everyone, what do you think the goal is of this city? What could it be? What would you do? Money's not a problem. We have all the money in the world and you can do anything you want. And John, I don't get wild ass stories of what they would dream of. You know what I would do? I would do X. I see desperation. I see a blank look, like, one, I've never been asked. You must be lying. What's your agenda? Because nobody tells me this. I call that desperation. I'm like we've beaten out of everybody hope. There's almost no hope anymore. Don't ask me that, because you're going to pull the football away when I try and kick it again.
That's definitely it. I feel it. Yeah, it feels like that's what we're like. I feel like Charlie Brown. You're right. Because every time the football has been pulled away, God, I don't know anymore. Like, for me, it would have to become, I sit there and look at Nabisco, that big building. There's something about that building that every time I go by it, I feel like, because it looks like silos, that whole thing. I feel like there's something that should happen there. And I don't know what. I wish I knew. I'm not that creative, but something. I feel like that's something. The building looks incredible. I don't know. I'm not one of those types to redeveloper type, whatever. But it's just there, and nothing happens. I mean, you said it best. I mean, we're like Charlie Brown when he gets the ball pulled away. We all feel that way. I feel it. I want to be hopeful. I feel no hope. I feel hopeless. I don't want to, but I don't know what else to do. Honestly.
Do you think all the elected officials in the world have never, heard this? Like, they would say, the Nabisco plan, what a good idea. We should do something. I mean, everybody knows where the liquor is, Mr. Ness, right? The famous line from the movie about Chicago bootlegging. Everybody knows where the liquor is. If you enter this world, if you cross this threshold, you're going through a world of hurt, Mr. Ness, right? We are right there. What will be the tipping point to saying, hey, the Nabisco plant, sure, if you have a car, that's what you're driving by. If you're a tourist, one of the supposedly 9 million people who walk past the state park. You're walking past the Turtle. That's been vacant for 20 years. Probably the most essential piece of real estate in the entire city. But every city council person or the current mayor thinks we have to regulate Airbnbs. That's the number one issue, not the most valuable piece of property in the largest tourism possibility city in the entire United States. But we're going to, crap all over the Airbnb people because I don't know why. There's been one somewhat trumped up report on a normally five-star owner. How do I not be jaded, John? Talk me off the ledge?
Oh man, I'm on the ledge. I mean, the Turtle is our thing. I mean, that's it. Like, I mean, that's our spot. Like when we complain about, and I complain all the time about Goat Island and how we get nothing out of it, but there it is. We're right there, and we can do whatever we want, I think, and we do nothing. And yeah, you're right. But yet we look at STRs like it's the most important thing in the world here. And STRs aren't even causing the violence. You know what I mean? Like we're not having an incredible violence because of STRs. People are getting shot dead there. Oh my God. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Right. It's a shell game. Distraction over here with short-term rentals while there's shell casings being collected by the police, and the most essential piece of property in the entire city is vacant for 20 years. Pays no taxes, I should say. That's number one. If it was paying $1 million in taxes a year and the city was using that money to build pocket parks in poor neighborhoods, then we'd be talking a different story. Pays zero taxes. You pay more taxes than the Turtle. So that result, all of those events give us the city we have. You want more people to move there because people have value. You want a business to locate there because it has value. You should announce tourism is your number one industry. None of these things are happening, and I don't understand why. And I don't even understand who do I yell at? Who do I get angry at? You?
I know. No. Well, you know where I was at? Let me bring up one thing I saw the other day. I was driving to the studio, and you go by that Wurlitzer place, and all that. There's an incredibly cool chocolate factory there, and a brewery or something next to it. But the chocolate factory, I haven't been inside, but looks really, really, really cool. I want to go look. That, like, why wouldn't that be down here? I mean, that would be perfect.
So this is why Niagara Falls is so essential to look at. You're talking about a small city, a small poor city in the same county, North Tonawanda. They've done something with the Wurlitzer building without great fanfare, without a North Tonawanda Niagara Development Association, run by Cuomo. You've done it in North Tonawanda. Lockport is a jewel. It is a gem of a city. It is gorgeous in every way. Without a Niagara USA Economic Development Organization with hundreds of millions of dollars, without any of that bureaucracy, Lockport is beautiful. Niagara Falls stands alone by human decisions that you and I have made. That's my point with Civics. We decided the Falls will be exactly what it is. And I don't know what will change it. I guess I don't know what will change it. We've got 60% of the city council will be brand new on January 1st. Will it be different? I don't know. My 40-year history of watching the city says it won't be any different.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. Yeah, I am hopeful this time. I don't even know why. Maybe it's because all the candidates aren't really, they're very new. Maybe I do get concerned a little on the STR thing. I only because you got to make sure that you're well-rounded, and it's not just STRs that you're going in for, but whatever, I'm sure those people will be.
Say you're not a fan of the STR world, and I have no real opinion because I can't think about it. It's not my game, right? Yeah. But tourism, if we're a tourist community, starts with a visitor. A visitor starts with needing a place to stay. It seems like STRs are the tip of the spear to bring tourists here. Yeah. I don't know what to do with them, but they seem important. And so are shell casings.
Yeah, I would never stay at one. I don't think I'd stay at an STR, but I'm one of the hotel or more type, but I could see why people think they're really cool. I mean, I've thought of it like in different places we've gone. Man, it would be cool to live in just to stay in a neighborhood. So I could see you're right. I mean, that's something we shouldn't be trying to bury. I mean, to start with, but that says it all, right? I think the STR thing maybe says it all
It almost says it all. You're right.
because look at us. We're trying to kill it or something. I don't know. For some reason, we're trying to regulate it into the ground and hopefully stop it. And that's maybe that's it in a nutshell. For some reason, we want to stop the bed and breakfast game like no one else has. I mean, in Atlanta right now, they're having that argument. I was reading it in the paper. Atlanta's having a huge argument over bed and breakfast, but their argument is people are coming and having party houses. You'll get 50 people and all that. It's not, should we have them or not, or should they be in a certain spot or not? So it's weird, man. There's a reason behind it that I don't know. Why are they stopping?
Here's my contention that we need to be more involved. We need more people to be more involved. And we need you to invent this dashboard and to continue to have podcasts, because all of us are smarter than any of us. We need to discuss these issues because we have a brand new mayor in the city of Niagara Falls after 12 years. I don't know. Nothing's different after the last 12 years because we're arguing about short-term rentals instead of gun casings. We're not arguing about the turtle, which has been there for 20 years, over 3 mayors. So it isn't going to change unless you do some more podcasts to attract more attention to everyday people. You bring the news down to everyone. That I don't know how you do that yet, and I don't think you know how to do it yet, but it's essential that you do your work, because electing the next person is an important part of the process, but not the solving of the process. There you go.
Yeah.
Your work is...
No, I know. It's not. You're right. I mean, no matter who we elect, it's just, we know that we have one party here and that's tough. So that means there's one person who's in control, and you got to decide if you're going to be with them or against them. And that's tough. That's a tough call, because when you decide to be against, you're going to get you got to be tough. You got to have a tough skin. You got to be tough. You got to be ready to take what's going to come. Yeah, I mean, and I don't know, man. It's frustrating. That's why I keep saying I don't know, because I don't know. I wish I knew. I know though, like with our podcasts though, you're right. I mean, we got to get something going. I don't know how, I don't know when. I mean, here's one example though. If you got a podcast, one thing you can do is really look into getting yourself on like these different, like for example, you can find my podcast and Gorillas Inc. on Roku TV even. I mean, you can go there. You can go on your TV and go to Spotify. And if you got a smart TV and you can watch it on TV. So you have that. I mean, that's what we need to get more of though for everyone. Like we all got to get up.
Yes. So you need to find a way. Those people are finding your show, but you need to find them a way to the voting booth or the soup kitchen, or, again, my contention, people that know what Roku is, it's far from, a hidden gem. They don't participate in the process, but they're cause and effect of the process. So you take those people who know you on Roku and get them to vote. That's your challenge.
Yeah, it's just if you have a smart TV, you'll find any of us. Any of us are on a smart TV right now, because there's Facebook Watch, there's YouTube, there's all of us. As long as we're put there, you can find us. I mean, that's the one good thing I will say. Most people have a smart TV now. I probably, and you can find us there. But it's just knowing that we even exist. I guess that's the whole key, getting people like to know that we're even there. And you're right. I don't know I got to talk to people that know more than me, because I don't know anything about tech and stuff.
Well,
and how to do things.
And my point is, because I actually believe that we have good elected officials and good participants in our government process, but they're not connected maybe to everybody. It's still too few people talking. And so if you can get that Roku crowd and your crowd together with our current elected officials, they want to be elected officials. They want to stay in office and they want to do good things, but they need to know what those good things are on your behalf. If it's only what they hear, that's what they're going to do, right? So,
well, I've had one council person who's running that's running now, and it was Perry. No one else comes. They know where they know where I am. I reach out some to some because others already know, and they don't come. And I don't know, maybe they come closer to November, but I can't get them in the door to come for an interview. I just can't get them in. So I don't know. They don't want to come in, or they're shook up. I don't know what it is, but you know what I mean? So
we can archive this and your statement because it shouldn't be true 1 year from now and not at all true 2 years from now. It's going to move that fast, and we have to make it happen that fast. That people need to talk all the time, all the time to everyone. That's it should be one of our goals, because all of us are smarter than any of us. I hate to keep saying that, but only by talking to each other can we change any of the frustrations we just vented over the last 40 years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've got to, ego's got to be, that's one thing I said it earlier. People that are doing these shows and stuff don't have an ego. Just drop it. Don't worry about it. There's enough for all of us too. There's enough out there because we're brand new. We're on I think at least in Niagara Falls and in Niagara County and maybe even Western New York, we're there. We're right on the cutting edge of doing something different. And I just think we got to do it. We're going to do it.
And that's a perfect ending, because that's what I think too. The Falls can be the best city on the planet. It's just that we don't know what we want yet. So let's talk about it. It's not a great sin to not know what we want, but we have all the money we want. We have all the resources we want. We have the best people in the world. We have to believe that. And so the only problem is not doing it. And we have to start doing it. So thank you for what you do. Thanks for coming on today and sharing Father's Day. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you, Tom. Anytime.
All right. Thanks, John. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Yep.